Get in, friend. Because have you ever thought about how you are led to the things that you find in your life and in your experience? So, of course, I'm sitting in the car the other morning on my morning walk, and I'm rethinking this recurring thought that I've had about how to continue in the YouTube space. So, I've been in the YouTube space for quite a while. It's been 9 years since I originally started a YouTube channel and started posting the vlogs and the DIYs and all of like the lifestyle and home sort of content. And then there comes these times where, and I think a lot of creators go through this, but there's that whole break where you kind of fall off, you're reevaluating, life might get busy, things change, right? And I think this happens like as our lives change, especially creators who started out maybe sharing pregnancy stories and things of that nature and find that 5 years later there's two more children, life's gotten hectic, things have changed a lot, and it becomes kind of difficult to keep up with such a demanding YouTube schedule. I think that a lot goes into really filming for a vlog and then editing it and trying to get it, looking like something really good that somebody wants to produce. And it's very time consuming. So, in that, I had been having all of these feelings like I like vlogging, I want to come back to vlogging, but how can I do that and make it like really simple and really conducive to the things that are going on for me right now, where I am, where I've been going, like I often feel like my life is too boring to fully vlog it because, I don't do a whole lot every single day in terms of things that are probably visually appealing to see on somebody's vlog, and especially not aesthetic. We homeschool, we do go to different libraries and things like that. Yes, we try different restaurants, but those end up being like the highlights of what I do outside of the house. I recently started going to the gym, so I thought maybe I could do gym content, but I really wanted to get into more of a space of like not showing my face all the time on camera. All of these thoughts started to get me thinking about the fact that over the course of my adult life anyway, I feel like I've always been very led to the things that I need to see, to the things that I need to find, to the places that I need to be. It always just happens to fall into my awareness in some kind of way, or I'm always placed at that right place, right time, or I happen to come across the right thing at the right time on the internet or even out in the world. So, in having all of this thought, I had been wanting to create videos that were voiced over so that I didn't have to show my face, but that still allowed me an opportunity to get all of the things that I need to get out of my camera roll and onto videos. But sometimes, when I'm filming, because when I go out, I'm always recording something, I'm always trying to find like a moment to record. But then when it comes to actually putting it all together into the vlogs at some point, it kind of all just gets lost in translation. I might end up doing something totally different. I might film clips one day with the intention to edit them, and 5, 6, 7 days go by. And then it starts to feel like, okay, well, I can't put this into a vlog because this happened days ago. Things start to get so far out of order that it doesn't make sense. You have to be a little bit more creative with how you end up putting the content out there. So I'm thinking, how can I create where I'm able to just kind of talk about things? Like at first it was talk about what I'm doing, but then I'm like, no, I don't want to show a visual and then talk about what I'm doing in the visual. And I've been doing this live stream show every week for the last 12 weeks. I'm so proud of myself. It's been 3 months. And it's been going really good. And I think what I appreciate about that is being able to use the clips afterwards as well to just create more information to put out. So after, such a significant loss, two significant losses that I've experienced recently, I feel like loss has a way of sort of shaking up the way that we think about things. Definitely, it can change a lot of perspectives that we have on different things. And so when I think about the YouTube space, like a lot of times I feel like I don't just want to be on YouTube talking a bunch of bullshit. Like, I don't want to just film me cleaning up with no other substance there. And I've also been enjoying talking. I think that getting things out, I think that having conversations has really been very pivotal and very helpful for me within my healing journey in general. And so I like that. I like being able to share. I like when I'm able to connect with somebody who has experienced the same thing or needed to hear what I had to say. I've had people say, wow, like I've been feeling this way for a really long time and didn't know how to express it. You really put words to what I've been feeling. Those are always some of the greatest compliments and comments to get in because it started making me feel like, okay, like, I'm really doing something. As well as I had a really intuitive message years ago that said, share your story. And at that point, it was kind of like, what story? Like, what part of the story? I was in my 20s. Like, yeah, I had been through some things, some sort of like life up and down, some marital things, but I didn't really feel like there was a whole lot of some sort of big testimony to really tell in that sense or like a story to share. So that was always one of those messages that I kind of just stuck in my back pocket and held on to. But I'm really thinking that I'm beginning to now see like the unfolding of what that means. And so coming back to this idea of being led, it definitely always seems to happen for me like that. So, as I'm sitting in the car this day, having this whole thought process, and mind you, it's taken me like this long to share it, but the process of thought really only lasted like a couple of minutes. And as I'm thinking about all of this, I'm like, okay, well, let me just go online, as most of us nowadays do. I'm wanting to go and I am wanting to find something out there that is similar to what I think I'm talking about so that I can grab a little bit of inspiration and know that I'm not like off my rocker, right? And so I always think about, I don't know that I really want to be like the first person ever do something or to create something, but the lines get really blurry between, copyrights and all of that stuff when you're doing something that everybody else is doing. And like, I also don't want to do something that everybody else is doing. But as I'm in this space of wanting to really talk and have conversations and really just share a lot of the wisdom and the things that like I've learned along the way as I get ready to approach 40, I'm like, I'm a little smart these days. Like I got a little bit of stuff in there that I can share. And I don't want to have a traditional podcast. I don't think that I want that to be the case. It's funny because I have a vision board from several years ago that has this Yeti podcast mic on it, like a silver one, and it's got like a laptop and I don't really know what the inspiration behind all of that was other than continuing to grow my YouTube channel. But I do remember several years ago, Gary Vaynerchuk did say that podcasting was going to be something that was going to take off and get really big. And I never really jumped in on it back then, although I feel like I've had a lot of content, I guess, that I've put out into the world of just me talking. And I enjoy that too. But I was thinking, I definitely want to put it to the visual. I go on TikTok, I think I'm looking around, I'm trying to see like, okay, would it be a vlog? Would it be a podcast? Would it be like a combination of the two? Like, would it be considered a video podcast so I'm trying to think of all these different ways that I can type this into the different search engines to figure out what I can get back. And I wasn't really finding anything. The first couple times I looked, I didn't have much luck finding anything that was really mirroring what I thought I was looking for. So I ended up going on YouTube and I had typed something in one way and I was scrolling. I'm not seeing nothing. So I typed it in a little bit different of a way. I just kind of rearranged the way I put the words in. And a couple scrolls down, I ended up finding a video that was a pod vlog. And so I was like, what's this? And so I click on it. And within the first like 30 seconds, I'm immediately vibing with the video. I'm like, you know what? And so as I watched the whole thing, I'm like, yo, this is probably like, this is very, very similar to what I'm looking for. Like, I'm thinking to myself, this is it right here. Like, and so granted, the type of video, visual content that was going in was just kind of like my normal speed of YouTube videos. It was clean with me, she was cleaning along and kind of like going about through the day. But there was a voiceover that didn't really have anything to do with what was going on in the background, but more or less it was like a beautiful, thoughtful sort of solo conversation. And I was like, this is a format that I can work with. Like, this is giving me life right now. And so went ahead and saved several of the other videos so I can go in and watch them. But once I had the little title pod vlog, I'm like, okay, so now I'm looking for pod vlogs. And so there was quite a bit of videos where people had attempted to create these visual sort of podcasty style video vlogs. And a lot of people were giving credit to Aaron on Demand, which is the video that I saw that really inspired me to continue with the thought that I was having. It definitely felt like confirmation that, yes, what you are thinking is, here's a glimpse of a type of format that can probably work for it, right? So, and then there were some other videos that seemed completely separate and maybe totally different or random from the video that Aaron on Demand had created, but I watched those too. I watched a lot of vlog pods and pod vlogs that day, but I really felt very inspired and very like motivated create what I had been thinking in my mind. And so it was really lovely to see that, okay, like I'm not the only person who's had like an idea like this, which of course I didn't think that I was. It seems like to me the idea would be much more popular. But it was definitely one of those things where I felt like, okay, I'm trying to gain a little inspiration. Like, if this is something that I should be doing, like, it would be really helpful if I could find something that is kind of similar that can sort of spark my creativity a bit and just confirm to me that, like, yes, this is like, these are a thing. And so it just really made me feel very validated in wanting to create these. And I felt like this is just the perfect like revamp that I feel like I need for the channel. And it was the perfect way to sort of segue into saying goodbye and closing out an era with growing with the greens as like my children are just getting older. Like, my oldest is grown, like they're not really a part of the vlogs the way that they were. Like, our living situation and our circumstances have changed. So things that I used to do in the vlog, I'm not in a position to do anymore. Like, so many things have just been changing and shifting, have become so different. And I've always just wanted this space here on YouTube to sort of flow along with that. So that is how this whole thing came about. So if you are listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or any other like podcast outlet, then yes, this whole entire thing is inspired by the fact that I wanted to continue with my YouTube journey in a way that allowed me to really just talk, but also throw a bunch of visuals because I'm always filming something so that you can see things and life from my perspective as I get ready to head into my 40s. So that's just a little backstory on how this whole podcast, pod vlog, vlogcast has really sort of took its shape and come into what is starting to become form. So, we'll see how it goes, the little rantings of me. But I definitely wanted to just share that, being led can be really subtle, but we always have to be paying attention when it comes to being able to see the things that are being put in front of us and do our own part by actually trying to see what is out there sometimes. I don't go super far into anything. It's like I take the initiative, that first step that says I'm interested in this, and I just feel like God always turns it around and delivers, and it's like, okay, here's a little sprinkle, or here's this, or here's this person. I've met people at the right time for certain circumstances. I've, turned on certain advertisements or walked into certain stores like right. And I believe that, everything happens for a reason, 100% for sure. Like things are beautifully and very divinely orchestrated, whether we can understand with our human minds, how that works or not. And so I love like things just aligning perfectly. And so I'm very thankful that I was able to find that YouTube channel and that I was able to see that, like, okay, this is almost exactly like what I was thinking. And it definitely inspired me to continue to follow the leading and the promptings and to be in it, sit in it, follow what you feel, follow your intuition, like all of those things that I'm currently working on, working through, and moving through in this journey and this thing called life. So I question you to ask yourself, how are you led? How have you been led within your life's experience up until this point? In what ways do you feel that you've been led, guided to the right thing at the right time? And let me know in the comments if anything specific sticks out for you, or if there's anything specific that you have been led to that really ended up being monumental or life changing within your life. A lot of times we have to slow down in order to really hear what is being presented to us, and in order to really hear and know exactly what is being said so that we can be led. A lot of times I feel like our bodies are always talking to us, right? I feel like nature is always talking to us. Like things are always in some form of communication with us, and we live such busy lives. There's so much to do. There's not enough time in the day. Like a lot of times we have to slow down and really be able to be in the body and be in a space where we can hear and where we can receive. So I am open to the reception of being led, and I just hope that, that I am able to always hear correctly, because there's a lot, and to be mature about it, because there's a lot of times that I can be like, no, I was led over here. But no, sometimes there's a lot of resistance to things. And I think I've started to learn that when there's a resistance and when you can sort of feel resistance, then, it's time to back up and see, like, are you really being led? And then sometimes resistance points to the fact that that's exactly where you need to be going. But having the discernment to understand between the two is really important when we are resisting, because it's something that we just need to do and we should be doing. And the resisting is sort of holding us back from really achieving something big, or, certain resistances bubble up that are a leading that is saying, not this way, not this time, not right now, or no altogether. So understanding that and learning to grow in that, I think, is also really important when it comes to just thinking about how we are led to certain things at certain times, and how being led to those things can really, really change and transform our lives. And so, yeah. So I hope that you can take that and that you can find a little bit of value in starting to come into an awareness of where and when you are being led and where you are being guided to things in your life. Thank you guys for joining. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you for being here. And I will talk to you guys in the next one. Until next time, it's all love. Bye.